in the same clothes.
Not the same clothes.
Jump scare.
Also, I'm in a better mood. Okay, there's a couple of reasons. My friend is here today.
Woohoo!
My name is Nasra.
I'm Zakiya.
And today's guest is actually my friend. And I'm so happy that Zakiya and my friend Zakiya are actually they have met now, because I love these two people. And this is going to be such like a lovely episode. Earlier on, I was explaining to you in the previous episode that I was sad. Like I heard a really sad story this morning, and it just, you know, when it puts things into perspective in your life, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. It was just playing on my head. And then I heard another sad story during the episode, and that made me cry. And I had already bust a cry in the Uber on the way here. So I was puffy. So I was already like in a sad place, and then it just made me more sad. But alhamdulillah, we spoke through it. We got through it. Last episode, I know you guys watched it. If you didn't watch it, go check it out. Was really, really like wholesome towards the end. So my energy's up a bit. Also, I'm expecting an Uber Eats delivery, so I apologise if you're going to see me stuff my face in a minute. Yeah, welcome to Entry Level Mums. Sorry about that long disclaimer.
You kind of went this way for a bit.
It went left and right.
It's fine.
But Zakiya, please introduce yourself.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Zakiya. Me and Nasra are friends. We made friends in a really weird way, actually, didn't we?
Let's tell them.
Basically, I started a TikTok account like a year and a half ago. I was in a very, very different place to where I am now. And all of my videos were talking about loneliness, isolation, depression, anxiety. And Nasra sent me a message, actually. And she was like, no, don't be alone. Like, we're here. Me and Zakiya will take you out, and like you can come out with us and stuff like that. It was really cute. And then I don't know what happened. I think life was just in the way. I was doing my master's.
Yeah, you were really busy. I
both
was really
got
busy.
kids.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to knock it at some
It's
point,
fine,
but
it's
whatever.
okay.
We were just really busy, and I think life was just getting in the way. But I think we kind of moved to WhatsApp by the summer. But we just like message each other here and there. And I remember, I was thinking about it the other day. I remember last summer, I can't remember if you messaged me or I messaged you, but one of us said to the other, I know when we see each other, we're going to be besties.
Yeah.
And we were like, totally
Literally.
in agreement. And then we finally did this year. When was it? April? May? No, after Ramadan. May?
A couple months ago.
Wait.
A few months ago.
Yeah, it was a few months ago now. It was like April, May.
When we went to Malu.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to Malu. And that was the first time we met.
Yeah.
To try that place.
And it was
It's
just
actually
like,
so
you haven't
good.
been.
It's so good.
So
It
good.
looks we love
good.
Malu.
We absolutely love
Shout
Malu.
out to Malu.
Shout out.
Sponsor us.
At least a little freebie next time.
It would be nice.
But yeah, it was just like, when you meet someone and you're just aligned. Like your souls just connect.
My God,
Literally.
Subhanallah, it was crazy. It was like literally like there was no barrier between us at all. It was crazy.
From the jump, this is
Yeah.
mad.
So cute.
And I was saying to Zakiya, this has only happened to me 3 other times. And it's so funny because I was saying to her, the first time it ever happened to me, when I felt like that was someone, was Hannah. And then like, it's mad. I feel like I fall in love with my friends. It's crazy. I fell in love with Hannah. And then the second time it happened was with you. That day that me and you went to that really weird dessert place in Wembley. And I feel like the way we connected, and then us starting this. Love you. I fell in love with you, Zakiya. And then the third time it happened was with Zainab. It's mad. And then when it happened with Zainab, I was like, wow, okay, this is great. I didn't know it was going to happen again. Until I met Zakiya. Absolutely fell in love with her and her son.
Crazy.
But we're gonna get into it. Go on.
Not Nasra having like loads of love stories. But
Right?
everyone else is like, oh, my life is dry.
You know what it is? I have great love stories with my friends, but romantically,
Yeah.
At least we're filling up that void.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
alhamdulillah. Yeah.
yeah, there's another void that you can't fill, but
Hey, stop.
We can't listen.
Astaghfirullah.
We can't be good at everything. What can we do?
Do we just look at me like, not an house for
I
doing
was
this
like,
again?
it's only been, 9 minutes?
I told you, Zakiya makes me actually energized. It's crazy.
Don't blame me. What? Like, I'm not the culprit in this. What? But yeah, it's been I don't know. It's like besties ever since. Like
Literally.
it was so quick, and I'm a mum. I have a 9-year-old son called Ilyas, who
I love that name,
is
by the way. Mashallah.
I love him. He's amazing.
he is
Allahu Barik.
Allahumma barik. He is absolutely amazing. Like, I think he's, I know all mums say their kid's special, right? But he's just been like such a blessing to me. Like, he's changed my life in so many. But I think he changes people's lives.
He does.
Genuinely. Like, we went to his report day at Madrasa last week, and his teachers were crying. And they were like, it's such an honor to teach him. And they're all fighting over who's going to teach him next year. Like, they're like, genuinely, he's just the most amazing child. So
He's amazing. He's
that.
actually so sweet.
Bless.
You know, I feel like he's really gentle with me because like me and him are the same.
Yeah.
And even the other day, I said the F word in front of him and he was like, we're all learning. We're all learning.
He said, I'll keep him. Because normally he disowns people that use profanity. He will not have it. Like, if he hears you swear, he'll be like, we can't be friends. He's cut off friends at school because he's like, they keep using bad words and I don't like it.
Bless him.
So, because I've been trying to teach him about making choices, like good choices. Because I don't want to be the one to like tell him what he should do and what he shouldn't do. I want him to be able to come to those conclusions himself. Because I think when we all know what it's like. When your parents tell you don't do something,
makes you want to do it.
You want to do it.
You have to try it out.
It's the opposite. So I want him to be able to make the choices for himself. So like that's been my focus in how I teach him. And when it comes to his friends, he's very, very careful about what types of, because I talk to him obviously about the qualities of what qualities your friends should have and why you should be friends with somebody and like Islamically who your companions should be. And he's like really, I've noticed in the last year, he's like really implementing those boundaries. So he's like, Mummy, I'm not friends with so-and-so anymore because he said bad words multiple times. And I told him, he goes, I gave him a warning and he carried on. So at the moment, one of his best friends is on thin ice because he said he's been using bad words and making inappropriate comments. So he said he's giving him 1 year. He said if he says anything in the next year, then he's disowning him.
Not a time limit.
Funny. I
but
love
1 year
him.
is enough time though. He's very generous.
funny.
No, but 1 year.
1 year is
no.
a long time.
But
a
if
long
he
time.
says anything in that 1 year,
Oh,
so
okay.
even if 6 months go by and he doesn't say anything, and then he says something, he goes, "You're out." So that's even harder because the kid's got to behave for
what's the
one
point
whole
of the
year.
1 year
Oh, yeah.
limit?
No, but maybe if you behave for a whole year, maybe you won't do it again. Maybe that's the way he's seeing it.
Yeah. But yeah, with Nasra, he's been a bit more
He's
lenient.
been really gentle with me. I loved it.
Yeah.
He actually said to me, it's okay, we're all learning.
Yeah.
And when he said that, I was like, I never want to swear again.
God, I'm so
I never want to say
intrigued.
any more bad words ever again.
I'm so intrigued.
I actually looked at him
now.
like,
You're very intriguing. Like, I just want to know.
she's amazing.
Like,
Oh.
no. Just this introduction. I'm like, what are you doing? I need to
Sophia,
learn. Where's
I
my
love
notebook?
her.
What are
She's
you doing?
Amazing.
It was so funny because when Nasra told me like what she wanted me to talk about today, I was like, huh? And she was like, no, Zakiya. And it was so funny. You were sitting in the back of the car, and like I don't know if you saw, but like I started crying because I was like, what the hell? Like nobody's ever said anything like this to me before. She goes, I just feel like you have so much to teach people. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What did I do?
Yeah.
Honestly.
I think because I just like, I'm just trying my best. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just going through life. Like, let me try and figure it out as I go along.
Yeah.
But
Makes me
alhamdulillah,
so
I think
happy.
it's having like, I think now that Ilyas is getting to an age where he can communicate really, really well, it's becoming more and more obvious, like how much work I've put in, basically. So yeah.
You know, I wanted as well to talk about, like, obviously Islam, like, I feel like this episode is going to be very tailored towards Muslim women because we all go through that stage of, like, confusion and, like, we all go through that stage of, like, not really understanding the religion and the deen and things that you have to do. And then, obviously, take into consideration all the cultural practices and all the cultural, like, ways of dealing with things. Like, for example, when, like, in our culture, we learn how to memorize the Quran and we learn how to read it, and then that's about it. Like, then you're expected to just, you're having the
good
Quran.
Muslim.
That's it. That's go from there.
Yeah.
But like, there really aren't any like tools in place, and I feel like this is why you have so much to teach, because you're giving Ilyas the tools for him to actually be a good Muslim.
Yeah.
Like, you're teaching him. Nobody ever said to me, this is how you should look for a friend. Like, I've just been, and now when I look at how you parent him, and that's why I said to you in the car the other day, you're an incredible mum. Wallahi, Allahumma barik. You're an incredible mum, because the way that nobody taught me these things. I've been winging in life. Like, I've actually just been winging it in life. And now that I look back, I'm like, rah, if someone had said to me at the age of 8 or 9, like, this is maybe how you should think about it, or this is maybe how you should look at it, or, you know, give you a chance to learn and put these boundaries in place yourself, like how you're doing with Ilyas, I probably would have turned out a lot closer to the deen, completely different. And like, even from, you know, when you see like a sheikh or like somebody who's like of like knowledge, somebody who's like a scholar, and you instantly in your head assume that they've been like that forever.
Yeah.
But there's no one that says, like, I never used to be like this. Like, I've become like this. Maybe except for Aki Ayman. Well, who, he's vibes.
That's his thing, isn't it?
He's vibes.
Yeah.
But except for him, maybe, he's more relatable. There's no really, like, females that who give da'wah, who even just teach you, who even say things to you like, okay, I was never like this.
Yeah.
And I've had, I don't know, I never got a chance to tell you guys this, but I had a couple of, like light bulb moments with Zakiya where, like, lots of tears were involved. And I think I'm tearing up thinking about it. But these are happy tears. These are not sad tears. There was a time, a couple of weeks or a couple of months ago, whatever, where me and Zakiya went to eat. And then after we went to eat, we stopped by and got like some drinks. Very delicious smoothies, by the way. Shout out Wonder Mix. After we had some...
Like you giving free promo.
After we went to Wonder Mix, she was like, oh, I'm going to go past the masjid to pray. And I was like, okay. And the masjid was literally around the corner from Wonder Mix. And then...
But you missed a bit. It's because when we were on the way to the masjid,
Yeah.
I told you, I was saying to you, I love this masjid because people will come in, like, without hijab. You know, some masjids, like, if you go in, like, say people that don't wear hijab, they'll come in and, like, straight away they're getting looks or they're getting, like, do you know what I mean? This masjid, it'll be salah time and somebody will come in, like... You can't tell they're Muslim outwardly because they're not wearing hijab or like they're wearing whatever, tight jeans, whatever it is, and then they just come in, they'll get something from the cupboard, cover themselves and pray salah, and like no one's bothered, like it doesn't bother anyone. So I told Nasra about that as we were walking to the masjid, and I could tell she was kind of like, yeah, whatever, like she didn't really believe it. But it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, if you don't see it, it doesn't really mean anything, right? So it's just like, okay, she's just trying to make me feel better kind of thing. Because she wanted to wait in the car.
Yeah, because I was saying to her, first of all, I'm on my period. And then second of all, like, I'm not dressed appropriately for the masjid. I remember saying that to you.
Yeah.
I'm not dressed appropriately for them. I think I was wearing leggings.
Yeah.
I'm not dressed appropriately for the masjid. And then as we went in there, she was like, no. She's like, it's fine. Just come in. It's okay. Just sit down. It's fine. And then she was like, just wait for me. We'll be fine. So I went in, cute little masjid in the middle of central London. And I sat down. And as I was sat down, the sheikh, he started the salah and he was reading a surah that I actually know. So I was like, oh, you know what, actually, I've never listened to the translation of this surah. Let me have a look at it. So I Googled the surah as he started and I was reading along in English. And as I was reading along, I think it was like halfway through he was maybe on the second rak'ah, a girl in like a leather jacket, a cropped leather jacket, and like trousers and hair out, swung the door open, came in, dashed her bag, dashed her jacket, dashed everything that she had in her hand, went in the closet quickly, grabbed the whole abaya thing, like, you know, the salah thing, stuck it on, fixed it up, and then just, Allahu Akbar, straight away, like, just jumped in salah. And I was like this.
The next thing I heard while I was in sujood is just sobbing.
And oh shit, I can feel the tears coming. And I burst into tears because it was literally like your words, like actually like I had that light bulb moment where I was like, wasn't we just talking about this? This is so mad. And as I was reading you know what it was? It was a double whammy because as I was reading the surah was about punishment. And I was reading it and I was like, shit. Oh no. And then she came in and that happened and I was like, And then she came and sat next to me at the end of it. And I was like this.
So she has no idea that you were literally crying.
No, she was like, I could tell. I could tell. I knew you were having a moment. And then she like talked me down and then like we spoke about it. And then it was like, I was just one of those like very life-changing, whoa kind of moments. And
But it was really funny because, you know, when she started, like when I could hear her sobbing, I was in sujood and I was making dua for her. And then I just heard her start sobbing and I was like, what's happening?
Because before that,
That's so wholesome.
you know, before that, like, okay, so when I was at Zainab's house, one day it was Ramadan and I went to break fast at her house. She invited me over and she was like, come on, let's pray. And I prayed with Zainab. And I remember saying to Zainab, oh my God, you're the first friend I've ever prayed with. I remember like I had like one of those moments where I was like, you are the first. I've never prayed with my friend. And it was like a strange moment of realization where I was like, what? I am 29 years old. Do you know them ones? Like, I am a 29-year-old person. How have I never prayed with my friend? Be right back. Zainab was the first person I ever prayed with. And I just, do you know what it is? It's just one of those, like, that goes crazy.
Really?
That slaps.
Okay, we can replace Blank Street.
We
Great.
can replace Blank Street.
Great.
Yeah. That goes crazy. That's probably better than Blank Street. I'm not
Really?
gonna lie. Yeah.
Now let me try it.
I'm gonna try it. That's better than Blank Street, bro. That's better than Blank Street, isn't it?
It matches your outfit.
Oh,
That is
oh my God,
better
it's so
than
cute.
Blank
It
Street.
actually matches your outfit. Yeah, since we're boycotting Blank Street,
my
go to
God.
Black Sheep Coffee.
I'm sorry, what do you mean boycotting Blank Street?
Yeah.
Blank Street's on the list.
It's on the list.
Oh, piss off.
Yeah, it's on
Yeah.
the list.
The way everyone flocked to Blank Street because
Yep,
they
it's
were
on the
boycotting
list.
Starbucks.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they were like double whammy. You don't want to give us money over there, but you're going to give us money over here.
The only thing I was upset about with Blank Street was the pistachio cookie, but I found the supplier.
Okay.
And it's like, you can buy 30 of them for £30.
You're joking.
Instead of £2.30 per cookie. Sorry. I said,
Okay.
bun you. Let me just order 30. I haven't bought them though. Because, like, nah, that's going to be too much.
Can you plug the
Put them in the
supplier?
freezer. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. Hold on, let me find it. It's in my open tabs, in one of my 400 open tabs.
Oh my God,
Hold
I
on.
have like 700 open tabs.
No, I cleared them recently. I've got 298. Sorry, I had 483 not long ago.
I don't have more than 5.
It must be an ADHD
It's called
thing.
ADHD. Yeah, it is.
Oh
I
my God,
actually
let's get into ADHD.
I actually saw something that talked about
It must be an ADHD
how
thing.
people with ADHD will have hundreds of tabs open.
Because you have that in your mind.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Constantly. Constantly.
Yeah.
The way I have a million tabs open
Yeah, you
in
got
my
bare
mind.
tabs in your, yeah, because I can tell.
Do you know how many things I'm thinking about right now? Like, I couldn't even tell you.
Oh
There's
my
so many.
God, Zakiya, you know I never looked at it like that.
Pistachio.
I got bare open tabs in my brain.
And you just go in and out of each tab.
That makes so... I never looked at it like that.
Oh, where is it? Wait.
No, that's actually very, very nice.
Let's not eat this.
That is way better. That's way better than Blank Street.
Oh.
Way better.
You go. Oh, you know what? Here you go.
No. Have I lost
So
it?
good. I love
Cake
this.
Smiths.
Huh?
Cake Smiths.
Cakes.
Cakesmiths.com. It's literally the supplier for coffee shops. Yeah, so they supply Blank Street. It's exactly, look at that. That is the Blank Street pistachio cream cookie.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and they are £33.95 for 30 individual cookies. I
That's
said, what?
crazy. And then they sell each cookie for £2.50.
Mad.
That's so nuts.
So yeah, never
They're
again.
making a huge profit off that. Wow. Cake Smiths. Have you seen that guy online? And he's like, oh, so Starbucks did me wrong. So I'm going to whip out my little black book and give you the whole recipe for their white mocha something. And then he'll be like, 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons.
Somebody's doing that with Blank Street as well.
I've
They're
seen
putting all
it
the
done
recipes
with.
I love him.
I've seen it done with H&M, Primark.
Really?
Primark fired me. Here's all the secrets that I've learned.
Here's all the discount codes.
Here's all the discount codes.
I love that.
Amazing.
I absolutely love that.
Anyways, guys, let's get straight back into it.
Okay.
Hope
yeah.
you don't mind we eating chips at the moment.
Let's talk about ADHD.
Let's talk about ADHD.
I have it.
I definitely have it.
You have it.
I found out though, very recently, because Ilias was referred for diagnosis about 1.5 years ago. Mm-hmm. No, almost 2 years now, actually. And basically, when they refer a child, they send the parent all these questionnaires and like you have to fill in all these things and answer all these questions. And as I was going through the questionnaires, I was like, this sounds familiar. And then last summer, one of the doctors called me and like I had to do like an interview with them. I think it was like a 2-hour interview. I was sitting on my brother's balcony in Malta, looking out at the ocean, talking to this doctor. And she was asking me all these questions. And then towards the end of it, she said, Zakiya, have you ever thought about getting diagnosed yourself?
Oh,
I said,
that's crazy.
Oops. So yeah, as time's gone on, I obviously went on to read like loads about it, and I realized, wow, this explains so much of my life. Like it explains so much. And then funnily enough, I started going on TikTok Live, a few months ago, and within the first week, people were like, you're spicy. You're definitely neurospicy. And they were like, you're definitely ADHD and maybe autism as well. They're like, you're on the
so
spectrum.
funny.
I said, okay, real recognize real.
I hear that because, you know, I wouldn't be able to tell if I met you. Maybe it's because I'm not part of the club.
Yeah. They say
You
that
can't tell with me?
neurospicy people
I can
gravitate.
tell with Nostra, respectfully.
Yeah, but I'm like, I realized I'm really high masking. Like I present myself in a normal situation as like just very calm and whatever. Yeah, no. What is going on in my head is completely different.
I love that. That's me at
But
job
you
interviews.
know what though? It's funny though because one of my best friends that I met when I was doing my masters, she's autistic, and she sat me down a few months ago, and she was like, "Zakiya, we need to talk. We're in a restaurant. We need to talk. You know, autistic people are like that, very direct." I said, "Oh yeah, what's going on?" And she said, "Zakiya, do you know you're autistic?" I said, "Pardon? What do you mean?" She said, "That's why we're friends." I said, "I wouldn't be friends with you if you weren't autistic." I said, "Am I? Okay."
Oh, that's so funny. Do you know?
I said, "I don't think so." She said, "Yeah, you definitely are." I said, "Okay, cool."
Do you know how funny that is?
Real.
Literally.
Wow.
Do you know that you're autistic?
Not even have you
Not
thought
even,
about
you
no.
know, I think I maybe, I'm not sure. Do you know? She's diagnosed you already from time.
Fully. She said the first day she met me, she diagnosed me, but she just didn't want to tell me. I said, "Oh, cool. Thanks."
Wow.
So yeah, and then people were like affirming that on TikTok Live, like random people in my comments. They're like, "Zakiya, do you know you're autistic?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? Why?"
So what is it that they are seeing?
I don't know what they see. I actually don't know what they see to identify me as autistic. ADHD I can get because I'm constantly like there was one day I was sitting on TikTok Live here and I was answering questions and I didn't realize Ilyas has loads of Rubik's cubes, right? Because that's his fidget thing, one of them. And I was sitting there and I didn't even realize. I was like, and then somebody commented, they're like, "Zakiya, please put the Rubik's cube down." And then somebody else was like, "Oh my God, thank you for saying it," because I didn't want to say it. And then they all started commenting, "Yeah, man, please, Zakiya, the Rubik's cube is too much." Because I was
so
literally,
funny.
I'm talking, I'm like,
That's so funny.
bouncing off the walls, but inside my head.
That is too funny.
Yeah, but it's like sometimes people on the outside can see it, and I don't think they can see it because I think that I'm covering it up. But
You know,
apparently I'm not.
the exact same thing happened to me the other day, except in a different situation. I really thought I was masking heavy, but I didn't know that I wasn't masking at all. And then I was in the middle of a job interview. I was on Zoom. In the middle of a job interview, and then the woman, she asked me a couple of questions. I did like a task, whatever, I did it, and then she literally was like, "Can you tell me of like an instance at work where, like, you know, somebody like went like over your professional boundaries?" And then I found myself going, "Oh yeah, and I'm a mum, and also I have ADHD," and I started oversharing,
Tangent.
like completely oversharing, yeah. And it was I realized at the end of it, I was like, "Rah, did I just tell her my whole life story?" And then in the end, I was like, "I'm not gonna get this job." Lo and behold, an email. "Thank you for taking the time. Unfortunately," in my head, I'm like, you ain't never gonna hire me after I told you that I'm a mum and I have ADHD. Ain't nobody gonna hire me.
The joke is they don't get that we're so talented and so good at everything we put
I'll
our
probably
minds
be
to.
the most productive person on their
100%.
team.
100%. Any job, if you like people like us, you set us tasks. We're going above and beyond. We're going deep diving into whatever the task is and we're getting it done. If there's a deadline in place as well, smashing it.
Except if I hate the work.
Hyper focus is one of the
insane.
things, isn't it?
You know, for my master's degree, I was so stressed because I'd been out of education for so long. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm going to be really dumb and I'm going to be really like out of practice with essay writing and stuff like that. I smashed it. I smashed it. I got a distinction. And I was leaving, like I wasn't, you know, they'd set an essay or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I need to get this done before the deadline. Like early, I need to start early and get it out of the way. The day before the deadline, I'm like, okay, time to focus.
That is me. That is exactly me.
And then every time I'd get an A.
Wow.
That is exactly
I can't
me.
do last minute cramming. Like with essays, I'm that person that will start like 2 months before it's due.
I can't do it.
And
no, but the thing is,
I take my time.
I'll try.
Yeah.
I'll try. There was one, I literally wrote, I was like, I'm going to do this. I think I had like 6 weeks to the deadline. I was like, I'm going to do this. I sat down, I wrote the title. That document stayed empty until the day before. Yeah. And then I just...
That's a proper ADHD thing. And then you hyper-focus for like 2 hours and you do 2 hours worth of work.
Quality work.
That literally could have took other people 6 months. That's mad. That's mad. That is insane. Can we talk about ADHD and like how HD it is? Because hyperactivity...
Listen,
I didn't realize how hyper I was until I met Elias.
Let me tell you guys something. The other day, we were in Islington. No, forget that. Before we got to Islington, the whole day, yeah, it was just memes on repeat. Memes on repeat, yeah. And her and Elias were the worst because they were like bouncing off each other. Yeah, in the back of the car, they're just shouting memes out. What was? I can't even remember which ones that. There was one.
It was, can I pet that dog?
Oh, God.
And then, brother,
brother, the whole day.
We did brother for like 20 minutes non-stop. I think I've rinsed out brother like I don't even know if I want to say it anymore.
And then there was also that one that Elias does, that, oh my God.
Oh my God. That one.
So well. And then we went to get ice cream, yeah, in this place in Islington. And we were sitting outside and all of a sudden,
it was, can I pet that
both
dog?
of them.
Yeah.
Elias was, it was so funny because Elias was sitting down and Nasra was in a chair behind Elias.
Because there was nowhere else to sit.
And they both just started doing it at the same time, spontaneously.
It was crazy.
They both went, can I pet that dog? Can I pet that dog? And they just kept on repeating it over. And I was looking at them and I was like, what the hell is going on? And my other friend was there and she said, she was sitting in front of Elias.
Yeah.
She said it was so funny because from her point of view, she said it looked like a train, like Elias, and then Nasra was behind and they're just shouting this meme. And there's all these people walking past like, what?
Oh my God.
But like, it was... The energy was insane.
It's crazy. I didn't know, you know, like I know I have ADHD, like, and sometimes the HD part of it, like the hyperactivity element of it, like I see it in like the way that my brain races. I see it in like the way that like I get like my heart palpitations and all those things, yeah. But like I never ever saw it in the way that I now see it with Elias. Yeah. Because he'll set me off.
Yeah.
So he will set me off. His ADHD will set me off. It's like Tourette's. Like we just cannot stop. Like literally me and this 9-year-old boy are going, can I pet that now? Can I pet that? Like non-stop. Like wallahi, if you lot were next to us, even Hannah looks at us like, what the hell? Like even she looks at us like, can you lot stop now? And she'll be like, brother, but like she'll get bored and she'll stop.
Yeah.
Me and Elias will do it for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Literally, me and him is so mad. But you know, I don't think I've ever felt so safe to be like my entire A, D, and the H.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like I said, the only other people that I feel like that with is the three of you. Like you, Zainab, and Hannah.
That's so cute.
But when I have Elias as an added element, the HD, it like
they
bounces off each other.
They are a party.
It's
and the joke
mad.
is, I have that, but not them two. It's like they have, like I said, they're like on the same point of the spectrum. Like they get each other entirely. Like they're literally like, you see the connection. It's literally like you can see a visible connection from brain to brain. It's insane.
It's so mad. I love him. I actually feel like he's my son. Like it's so nuts. And I feel like that, you know, that's how I know I love you, because I feel like that about Sawiya's kids. I feel like that about Hannah and Nawal. I feel like that about Zainab and Sufyan. Like I feel like they're my kids as well. Like I think about them often. Yeah. Like you see me randomly asking you, how's Adam doing? Because I'm thinking about him. I feel like these are my kids. And I feel like Elias is my kid as well. But I feel like Elias is going to be what Hannah is in like a couple of years. That's how Elias is now.
Yeah.
I can't wait for her to get to that stage, because let her ADHD flourish.
Yeah.
But just without the tantrums and without the screaming.
It will, but it's basically making her, it's the same thing, how you feel safe. It's getting her to that stage where she feels safe to like express herself in every single way. But you have to remember, even with that, I put a lot of work into Ilyas being able to express himself. You know, it's not something that's just happened just like that, because he used to, not often, because he's generally always like really calm natured and he's like just a happy boy.
Yeah.
But when he did used to lose his temper, he would lose his temper. Like he'd like shake, and like you could tell he couldn't regulate his emotions. Yeah. But now, alhamdulillah, he's very, very emotionally intelligent. So he knows how to regulate himself a lot better now. So when he does get like really upset, he'll be like, "Mommy, I need some time to like calm down, and then we'll talk about it." So he'll go off, calm down. He usually the last time it happened, actually, he was really upset because I was making him do homework, and he hates homework, obviously. And he started losing his temper, and I just said, "Ilyas, do you want to think about what you're about to do?" And he stands up and he goes, "You know what?" And I was like, "Oh, don't even go there." And he goes, "I'm going to make wudu and I'm going to pray 2 rak'ahs." I said, "Alhamdulillah."
Alhamdulillah. Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yeah. So I was just like, okay, now he's like really got to that stage where he's learned to like how to regulate himself and how to like calm himself down. So
that is so sweet. You see, that's what I'm saying about the tools. Like, if only kids, like, if only parents understood like how to give their children tools.
And now we ask you, how did you do it?
Yeah. How did you get to that point?
How were you able to raise him with emotional intelligence at 9 years old?
And Islamic
and
intelligence.
with knowledge of the deen.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, it's been a very, very difficult journey. Where do I begin? So the first few years of his life were very, very tumultuous, very, very difficult. We were living in Spain for the first. No, wait. He was born in London, and then we moved to Spain when he was 3 months old. I opened a business in Spain with my ex-husband, and I didn't really get a lot of time with Ilyas because we had a restaurant, so I was working nonstop, and also I wasn't practicing at the time. I was like just kind of learning, and then what happened? Divorce happened. Loads of like trauma. It was really, really difficult. Ilyas came to the UK to stay with my parents for a long time while I was still in Spain trying to figure out what the hell to do. So we spent about 7 months apart, which was the worst period of my life. You know, FaceTiming your kid is not, especially when you're a new mum, like
it's not
insane.
It at all.
So I was going through major depression. In those 7 months, I saw him for 3 weeks. Like that was the amount of time we had together. And obviously I was working like 15, 17 hours a day. It was not the one. So basically it came to a point where I had to make a decision. It was either, do I want to be a business owner or do I want to be a mum? No brainer. Obviously I chose my kid. So I closed the business, came back to the UK, but in the process lost absolutely everything. Like lost the whole investment, all of it, everything gone. So I came back to the UK with nothing, moved in with my parents. But obviously I was like newly divorced. I just spent the last like 7 months without my kid. I just lost everything.
Yeah.
Come back to the UK, moved back in with my parents. Like that's insane.
Yeah.
So it was just a really, really, really tough time. And it was very difficult for me to be a mum, basically. Like I was still doing like everything that I needed to do, but I think, you know, your kids know when you're miserable, regardless of how old they are.
Yeah.
That energy transfer is real. Do you know what I mean?
They do, yeah, they know.
And then it kind of got to a point where I was just like, I don't want this for him. Like, I don't want this for him. I don't want him to grow up the way I grew up, with Islam being taught in a very, like, fear-based way.
Yeah.
I don't want him to grow up feeling forced into anything, or, like, the whole thing about memorizing without understanding anything.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's pointless. So I basically decided I was going to make a very concentrated effort to live the way I wanted him to be able to live as he grew up. So obviously put a lot of effort into seeking knowledge. in terms of Islam, but also, knowledge, secular knowledge as well, like psychological, emotional well-being, all the rest of that kind of thing, development, personal development. I just put a hell of a lot of work into it, to be honest. And then, like I said, it's been a journey.
Yeah.
And I'm still on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not perfect. I'm still like learning. I'm still trying. I'm still figuring things out. But I think last year was like a really pivotal moment for me where I started therapy for the first time. And my therapist, shout out Sania, she's amazing. She changed my life. Like, subhanAllah, she actually changed my life. And yeah, so like, I think doing that and like really working on myself led me to be able to teach him how to be. Because let's be real. Let's say, for example, okay, you want your kid to grow up as a practicing Muslim, yeah?
Yeah.
Of course.
How are you doing that if you're not practicing yourself?
That's very true.
Gagged.
Wallahi, absolutely gagged.
Because I hear it from people all the time, I want my kid to grow up like this.
They imitate you, man.
Your kid is going to grow up learning from you. Well, look, Ilyas started praying when he was like 3. Why? Because he saw me praying. That's the only way. So he would get up himself and be like, Mom, I'm going to pray, even when it wasn't Salah time.
You know what's terrible?
Locked in.
You know what's terrible?
Love that.
That I realized, oh, rah, like you're actually like, you're messing up. Is the day that I prayed a Salah in front of Hannah and she said, oh, this is what grandma does. And I said, bro,
Sorry.
you really don't associate Salah with me. That's mad. You associate it with grandma. You doing Allahu Akbar like grandma. I was like,
But it's also, look, I'm very, when it comes to Islam, you know, I know a lot of people are like, oh, you know, it's a journey and da-da-da, and like, oh, be soft. And yeah, I know it's a journey because I've been on it. Yeah. But I'm also a realist. And I told you, remember when I said to you, I'm always going to be blunt with you. I said, I'm never going to be harsh, but I will always be blunt. So if you're doing something haram, I'm going to tell you it's haram.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm not going to be like, oh, you know, maybe, da-da-da-da. No. I'm just going to say to you, listen, that's haram. Yeah. Don't do it.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it, that's on you. But I'm never, ever, ever going to be that friend here that you're going to come to on Yawm al-Qiyamah and say, why didn't you tell me?
Okay.
Absolutely not. Never going to be
I
me.
hear it.
Fairs.
Never going to be me.
Fairs.
Because even that quick reminder that you do could change their life as well.
You never know.
You never know.
It might be that one reminder that makes them think, oh, you know what? Actually, today I'm going to leave it.
Yeah.
Today I'm going to leave that sin behind.
Yeah, literally, even like me with the masjid incident, that one small thing could be like the pivotal moment of someone's like entire journey.
You literally don't know what it is. You don't know what moment is going to change someone's
And the
life.
same way, it could be if someone tries to confide in you. Like if I came to you and I said to you, look, I'm struggling. And you said to me, well, you're just going to go to hell. That could be the pivotal moment where I just go the other way. I'm like, okay, well, Christianity, maybe.
Stop.
Because you never know, innit? Like you really never know, like what your words could like impact.
Yeah. This is the way I really propelled myself into doing better Islamically, is that I looked at my son and I said, what do I want for him? My love for my kid outweighs anything else. It outweighs the love for anything in this dunya. My love for Ilyas outweighs any of it. So are you telling me I can't give up something because for the love that I have for my son? I want my son to go to Jannah. I want him to have Jannah al-Firdaus. Forget, like, I don't want no low levels, nothing. I want him to have I want him to be next door neighbours with Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But how can I do that if I'm teaching him that, you know, it's okay, you know,
Right, yeah.
it's okay, you know, this dunya is hard, sometimes we struggle, da-da-da. He knows we struggle. I make sure I'm very careful with teaching him that we're not perfect and that we sin and that we have to consistently seek repentance. But I also have to teach him that we have to really, like, be strong and, like, not be accepting of the sins that are very normalized in this day and age.
Ilahi, Allah, when Ilyas hits Jannah al-Firdaus, please make him ask for us. Ameen. Let him ask. Let him.
Ameen.
Where is Hannah? And where is Nasra?
Excuse me, may Hannah and Nasra be in Jannah al-Firdaus as well, without having to be asked for. May they be asking for other people, because this is the thing. Don't set your standards down here.
Okay.
You need to be pushing yourself. Forget where you're at right now. Yeah, forget that. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Because 10 years ago, I was in a worse. You know, I said to you that I recognize where you are because I've been there.
Yeah.
But you know, when I actually thought about it, 10 years ago, I was in a much worse place because I had zero knowledge. Zero. Like, I didn't know anything. I knew nothing. Yes, I knew how to pray. I didn't know what I was saying. I knew, like, I maybe remembered a few verses of Quran that, you know, I'd memorized a lot of Quran when I was a kid, but none of it stuck because none of it meant anything to me.
Yeah.
But I had zero knowledge. I had very, very, very basic knowledge. So I was in a worse place. But you know, that whole time, yeah, I was like, and not even that, I also thought that I was never going to be able to be a good Muslim.
Yeah.
Because I was like, nah, like the way my life is now, like how could I ever be that person? So what did I asked Allah for help because I was like, I don't know how to do this. Well, I don't know how to do this. I was like, because I was thinking, I was trying and I was like, I want to learn and I'm reading this and I'm reading that and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, but nothing's sticking.
Yeah.
Nothing, like the habits aren't forming. I don't know what I'm doing. I keep on making mistakes. I don't know where I'm going. I said, you know what? On this, let me ask Allah to help me. I said, Allah, please. I really want to be a good Muslim, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it though. Can you just like help me out?
And then the pieces started falling into place.
That's it. But I think there's that, and I think you've mentioned this to me, that there's this place that you get to where you want to be a better Muslim, but number one, you're scared because you're scared of losing who you are or losing parts of your life that you're accustomed to.
We did have this conversation. It was a very deep conversation.
It was, and I get it because I was there.
I remember saying to Zakiya, like, I feel like this person that I am now, Nasra, me, I feel like I've really, really built myself, you know, brick by brick, like the FYP. I feel like I've actually built myself so much. And I like this person that I am. Like, I like her. I like the journeys that I've been on. Like, even though they've been really hard, I like who I've ultimately become. And now if I like want to go in a different path or more towards Allah, I feel like I was afraid that maybe I would lose the person that I am. Like maybe I'd lose my sense of humor. Maybe I'd lose, like, you know, the things that... You
could be a funny Muslim, sis. Come on now. A funny practicing Muslim.
Yeah, but then when I bust a dirty joke with a hijab and abaya on, people are going to look at me like, wagwan for you. Yeah, are you all right?
Your jokes are a bit mad.
Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, so this is what I'm saying. Like, I like this person I've become. I like her. I like her a lot.
My response to her was that, you know, the closer you get to Allah, the more, like, certain things that you're used to or that you like become disliked in your eyes.
Yeah.
Like, it happens naturally.
You will naturally move away
It happened
from
to me.
it.
Listen.
What do you used to do?
Not exposing. What
do you used to do?
No, but like, let's say, for example, look, I stopped listening to music last year.
Yeah.
About a year and a half ago, and then I had like a little slip up last summer. So I'm gonna say a year, yeah, fully not listening to music. But people are always shocked. But like, if I think about the kind of music that I used to listen to, yeah, damn, like now when I hear it, I'm like, ooh, brother,
brother, what's that? What's that, brother?
Do you know what I mean? Because I'm like, was I really filling my head with that? Like, that's too much. That's actually like degeneracy. And I'm filling my head with it. Like, what the hell? And like, don't get me wrong. Even now, obviously, because those things were like, I listened to music 24/7 before. You would not catch me without headphones.
Yeah.
Like, if I was in the car, I was one of those people, yeah, windows down.
With the bass.
Yeah.
It hits different in the car, though.
Yeah, and I didn't care. I did that singing along to whatever. I didn't care. I did not care.
So we are.
I'm being so for real. I don't listen to music in the car anymore.
It's okay.
Because I'm a driver, and my worst fear, because I always hear about car accidents, people dying.
Yes.
I listen to podcasts and podcasts.
Okay. But you know, that's how I stopped listening to music. Mm-hmm. That's exactly how I stopped listening to music, because I told you this.
We had this conversation as well.
Because I literally, one day I just sat there and I thought to myself, if I died right now, do I want to be raised with flipping Vibes Cartel lyrics coming out my mouth? Are you mad? I said, A'udhu billahi minash shaitan rajim. Let me get the Quran going.
Facts.
So now, because the thing is, look,
Vibes
whether
Cartel.
you like it or not, whether you like it or not, the Quran and music cannot live in the same heart.
Imagine being raised.
It's spoken about.
Listen, imagine being raised on the Day of Judgment, and the first thing that comes out of your mouth is, "Remember when we take your virginity." First night that I
we're
rum
laughing,
shop.
yeah. No, but we're laughing. But can you imagine? Like,
No, but that is
in
not
front of Allah.
a joke, bro.
Are you mad?
No,
Because the thing is, we can. No, but
That's
the thing
my
is,
worst fear,
you
man.
don't know when you're going to be taken.
Wallahi,
Right.
You could drop
you
down
don't.
dead right now. It doesn't matter. You could
Wallahi,
be
you
peak
don't know.
health, and Allah could take your soul. You want to be raised upon that?
That's crazy.
Are you mad?
That's why sometimes, yeah, this is what scares me about music, innit? Because I used to listen to music all the time.
Yeah.
But now I will listen to like one song and stop. Before, it used to be
It's work in progress.
hours of music.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I used to think to myself, because you can die at any point, if you've got music in your ears all the time, you're finished.
Finished.
I can't lie, you're finished.
I'm
The
not doing it.
probabilities, you
I'm
know
not
them
taking the
ones.
risk.
I hear it.
I'm
So
not taking the risk.
so what I do sometimes is I can go so long without listening to music, and then I'll just listen to one quick song, 3 minutes, quick, and then that's it. No more.
But how do you? How?
But you see, when you get yourself to a stage where you're like, when you get to a stage
I'm
where
trying
you're
to
like,
reduce it
I'm not
step by
even,
step.
I'm not even gonna get, yeah, and you'll get there.
That's what I'm
that's what I
saying.
did.
Yeah, I'm reducing it.
But
It's
when
like,
you
I'm
get
not
to a
cutting
stage
it.
where you're like, nah, I'm not even risking those 3 minutes. Nah.
Exactly.
That's mad.
Let me spend
Exactly.
those 3 minutes doing the dhikr instead because boy,
Exactly.
not risking it.
Do you know, like, we actually had this conversation because I was saying to you that I love music. And like when I'm on the Lime bikes, I used to blast the music in my headphones. And then I had that same thought that you had in the car, but with the bike. I said to myself, rah. There was one time, it actually happened one time, yeah, where a man in a van tried to run me over.
I remember you telling me about this.
If may God strike you down, astaghfirullah. The man tried to run me over, yeah, in his van. He went this way. I was here. He went into me like this, and I had music in my ears. And I said Bismillah, and I stopped hearing the music. But like my brain, you know how with ADHD you can zone out.
Yeah.
I stopped hearing. I said Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and then I thought to myself, rah, he could have actually just killed me. Like I could have been dead. And then I was like, and you're listening to music. Imagine if Malik al-Maut comes out of nowhere.
Exactly.
Bro.
Like that scared me. And then I remember saying to you, oh, snap, Zakiya, you know, like I think it's so scary that what if I die listening to music?
Yeah.
And then she said to me, oh, that's not even the most scariest thing. You know, when you die listening to music, you're going to be raised singing the lyrics. And that's what I was like,
Yeah, you're
I
raised,
never thought
you're
of it like
raised
that.
upon what you die upon.
Yeah, yeah.
I never thought of it like that.
That's why it's not a joke. When you know
Bruh.
people are going to like places that they shouldn't be in or doing things they shouldn't be doing. If you die in that place, that's what you're. Nah, I can't take that risk. That's what. But that kind of helped me with stopping going to certain places or being around certain people or
Yeah.
doing certain things because I really started thinking about death.
Wow.
And I was really like, what do I want? What do
think
I
about,
want?
you know what, like death is one of those things where I actually fear it so much. Like just recently my auntie passed away and she was like the OG of the family. She's my dad's sister. And because she's my dad's oldest sister, it was almost like she was my grandma from my dad's side. Because my dad, from his side, I lost both grandparents way before I was born. She was like the grandma.
Yeah.
She filled that void for us. And when she passed away, we followed the car to the burial site and stuff, and just being in the graveyard and seeing them putting her down. I'm just thinking to myself, every single one of us is going to go through this.
This is crazy.
That's when you really deep it. You're like, how can I forget that one day they're going to be carrying me like this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, sometimes I genuinely can't,
Fathom.
I can't fathom it and I can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
Because it's not just you die and that's it. There's a whole
Yeah.
other world afterwards.
Yeah. And we're talking about eternity.
Like, sometimes I'm just like, I was just speaking to my auntie on FaceTime, like a week before she passed, and she was making dua for me and everything. And now I'm watching her being buried.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense in my head that that was her. And that she was just talking to us a week ago.
Yep.
I don't know. With death, it's like, oh my God, I just want to run away from it. Like, I
Can't know.
don't.
This is the thing, but this is the thing that we need to accept. This is the reality that we need to
I
accept.
want to get to a point
where you're comfortable.
where I am accepting of it.
See me, alhamdulillah, I'm at a point yet. I ask Allah, just keep me alive until Ilyas is independent and like able to fully take care of himself and on a good path.
Yeah.
And then you know what? Allah, take me whenever you want. but at the same time, obviously, consistently make us change me until you're pleased with me.
Yeah.
Don't take me until you're
Exactly,
pleased with
exactly.
me.
Yeah.
Because you want to be taken when he's pleased with you.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
you're
Yeah.
struggling, you ask Allah to keep you alive as long as possible, because you need to get to a stage where you're
Ya
good to
Allah,
go,
please
basically.
keep me alive. I need to be alive until I...
No, just say change me until you're pleased with me.
Inshallah.
Don't take me until you're pleased with me.
Don't take me
Ameen.
until you're
Because
pleased with
wallahi,
me.
it's not a joke, you know. It's not a
No,
joke.
I know.
think we get, and
There's
we
no
know
going
this.
back as
We
well.
get
There's
so
no
caught
going
up
back.
in the dunya.
Yeah.
You know me. I think for me, it's subhanAllah, when I look back on my life, I realize I'm so blessed because
Yeah.
I spent a long time completely away from Islam, where
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about Islam. I didn't even call myself a Muslim, because the way I saw it was like, I'm not praying. I don't live like a Muslim. I don't wear hijab. I don't do this. I don't do that. Which part of me is a Muslim? I was never one of those people who, like, I've never understood people who live a secular lifestyle and then say they're Muslim, because they're like, well, you know, my family's Muslim. So, yeah, but you're not a Muslim unless you're being a Muslim isn't based on the family you're born in or this or that. Being a Muslim, if you're not praying salah, you're kuffar. That's it. If you, and I'm not talking about if you miss one or you're struggling with it, that's a different story. That's you're a sinner, you're trying.
You still have to have some sort of connection.
But
yeah.
if you're not praying at all and you don't believe salah is obligatory, you're not Muslim.
Yeah.
That was me. I'm being real. I was not Muslim. So I see it as like, I'm so blessed, subhanAllah, because Allah brought me back. You know how easy, and you know, I'm not gonna lie, yeah, I had so many near-death experiences in that time. Like, obviously now, looking back, when I was in it, I didn't really, it was whatever, it is what it is. But coming back to Islam and then looking at the experiences that I had, and I'm like, rah, do you know how many times I could have died?
Oh my God.
Do you know how many times I could have died? And Allah saved me and brought me back and gave me a son who is like, alhamdulillah, like in love with his deen and like on the path to being a hafiz, and you know, he's making dua to be imam of one of the 3 holy masjids.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
Ameen.
At 9 years old.
Yeah. Now he's been doing it for a couple of years.
Ameen.
You know, last time we were in Medina,
Ameen.
they're like, all the old aunties, like, they all love him because he looks so cute, especially when he wears his thobe. He's like, oh, little stunner, mashallah. But they're all like, oh, mashallah, and they see him praying. And then there was one day we were sitting there, he was reciting Quran, and all these like old, I think they're Algerian as well, actually. All these old like Algerian grandmas, they came out, they all started making dua for him. They were like, make him the imam of Masjid Nabawi. I said, Ameen. Ameen, because that's what he asks for.
Oh.
And he always makes dua to be able to call the adhan in a liberated Masjid al-Aqsa. I said, yes, my boy.
Oh my God.
Ameen, thumma
ya
ameen.
Rab.
That is, ya Rab, wallahi.
At 9
That
years
is
old,
really, really...
he's on a good part. He's on his way there,
May Allah
inshallah.
preserve him. May Allah preserve him. Because, you know,
Yeah.
I don't, alhamdulillah, I'm really pleased with where he's at. But at the same time, like, I'm constantly making dua, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know, especially when they get to secondary school, you never know who they're going to meet, who they're going to... That's why I talk about teaching him to make good choices. Because I can teach him as much as I want. Once a boy, especially he's a boy, and he doesn't have any male role models. He doesn't have a dad. He doesn't have any like good Muslim men giving him guidance. There's only so much I can do, right? And you know, it does worry me sometimes. Like, oh, what about when he gets to secondary school? Like, I'm not going to be able to know. He's not going to tell me everything. I'm not going to know who his friends are. You know, he might tell me certain things, but not other things. So it's a worry, and I'm like, I could either sit and worry about it, or I can hand it over to Allah. And just like, I literally constantly making dua that Allah preserves him and keeps him on that path, because we're not doing that.
You know, like how you've given him the ability to distinguish between good friends and not good friends.
Yeah.
When I was a kid and I used to bring like a friend to my mum would be like, I don't like that friend. It's like, okay, why don't you like her?
They just knew.
What is wrong with her that I should not, that I should know to not make the same mistake next time, And then later on you find out, okay, yeah, maybe this person was not good for me. But like, how did your mum know? How did my mum know?
Yeah. Yeah.
How did you know? Can you teach me?
Yeah.
There was no lesson there.
Yeah,
It was like, I don't like her. And that was it.
Yeah, but it's like with anything. I remember when I was a kid, everything was haram, haram, haram.
Oh my God.
And I'd be like, why? Haram. And I'm like,
and
wow.
if you question
What
it,
do you mean?
they're like, how dare you question it?
Don't question.
I don't know why it's so disrespectful, but just explain to me why it's haram. Like,
There was no discussion.
Yeah.
There's no discussion.
yeah.
And the thing is, for me, it was like literally everything. Like, you know, if I wanted to go and do, I was really sporty as a kid. I love sport. I still love sports, but you know, after a lifetime of being banned from sports, it's very hard to get into sports as an adult. I was like banned from every sport that I wanted to do because, you know, the worst one, yeah. I used to go horse riding when I was a kid. I loved horses. Yeah, I used to go horse. I used to like save up my pocket money and then pay for horse riding lessons.
Oh.
And my mum used to take me. So my mum was like a bit more lenient. And then one time my dad took me, and he saw a boy working in the stables. Yeah, this boy was in the stables area, and I was in like there's like an area where they do the classes, and I was 12. But I was like, "You're never going there again. There's a boy there." Banned from horse riding, like that's crazy.
So were your parents
happened to
growing
me
up?
too.
Your parents were very practicing then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very strict. Very.
Do you think
very
that's
strict? Yeah.
I know this is personal, but do you think that's why you
Rebelled?
You stopped
100%.
practicing?
No,
as you
because
got
I was
older?
never practicing. Like, let me explain. My parents, my dad was always traveling for work. So he wasn't really around much when I was a kid. My mum was a revert. She was quite new.
Okay.
So she didn't really have much knowledge. And my parents put me into Islamic primary school thinking that's the way. Like, right? I'm going to get taught. I'm going to get an Islamic education. And then also I'd go to madrasa on the weekends. Yeah, it's cool. Islamic education's covered, right? So they thought. My dad's, to this day, he says that's one of his biggest regrets. Yeah. Is thinking that we were going to learn Islam at this school. What it was, it wasn't an Islamic school. It was like it was majority Pakistani. I think I was the only, maybe me and my brother and like one Arab family. We were like the only non-Pakistanis.
Wow.
And it was very cultural. Kids would get beatings.
Rah.
Yeah. One of the punishments, I remember they used to make, if a boy was getting punished, they'd make them go into the middle of the playground. So the school buildings were like round the playground. It was like humiliation tactic where they'd like send them to the middle of the playground and they'd have to do this thing called the chicken. Do you know what that is?
What kind of a humiliation
You have to like
ritual?
squat down, put your arms through
That's
your legs
torture.
and hold your ears.
No, but that's torture.
yeah.
Madness.
Yeah.
About that,
That's
yeah.
torture.
Yeah.
That's mad.
And then there was a lot of like, oh, you're not Muslim. You don't speak Urdu, so you're not Muslim. Or
Okay.
like, you're not Muslim. You're white. Why are you wearing hijab? You're Christian. And I'd be like, first of all, I'm North African, but okay. And they'd be like, no, you're white. You're Christian. I'm like, okay. And then there was one moment that I think it was really pivotal for me, where there was a teacher, and I don't remember anything. I don't remember the context. I don't remember I don't remember anything. I just remember hearing her voice saying, if you sin, you're not Muslim. I was 9.
What?
I was Ilyas's age. I was
Are these
9 years
people
old.
all right? As in,
No.
like,
What?
paradise will be filled with sinners.
Sinners.
The whole
Exactly.
point of Islam is we sin, you
Yeah.
just have to repent.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala
Like-
says, if you did not sin, I would wipe
Like,
you out
literally,
and
we-
replace you with a
We
race of
literally
sinners.
had
And
this
also,
conversation
we're
the
not
other day.
angels. We're not literal angels. Like the angels who have literally,
Yeah.
they don't do nothing
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like follow Allah's commands and all of that
Yeah.
stuff. Humans, we're finished.
But for
So we have
me,
to keep repenting.
at 9 years old, I think a couple of days before that, I'd like stolen some sweets from the shop. And I was like, yeah, I'm not Muslim.
Oh,
Damn.
So like from then, I was like, I'm not a Muslim. Like,
Oh, my
how can I be a Muslim? I'm a
days.
sinner. I'm not Muslim.
how
I've done
could
bad
you say
things.
that to kids though?
Yeah.
That's so done out.
Yeah, done.
Hope
That's
they're not
messed
open anymore.
That's messed up.
I don't know, actually. Don't think so. But so there was that. And then obviously there was the being forced to memorize and just parrot Quran, not understanding anything.
Yeah.
Even the topic of dua. You know, subhanAllah, now I have such a beautiful relationship with dua that I've really worked to build and the reason I did that was because I really wanted Ilyas to have dua as second nature. Yeah, because I feel like I've had to work so hard to build a connection with dua and like build that like personal relationship with Allah.
Yeah.
And I wanted that to be a natural thing for Ilyas. I wanted him to like, anytime he feels anything, okay, I can call on Allah. Anytime he needs anything, call on Allah. That's what I wanted. I want it to be natural to him. But for me, dua was, reciting words that I didn't understand. Learn this dua. and you learn it and you're like, I don't even know what I'm saying, but I'm just saying these words. They're just random words in another language that I can read and write, but I can't understand. Like, it doesn't make sense.
I had that same thought. Like, what's the point of being able to read Arabic when I don't know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So that's why, because I wanted to teach Ilyas in a different way, because for me, the most important thing with Ilyas is that he grows up loving Allah and actually having a connection with Allah, like realizing, because, you know, growing up to us, Allah was a concept. Allah wasn't real. It was a concept. It was just something to like scare us or like, do you know what I mean? It wasn't real. There was nothing really there. It was just you know, it's like flipping reading Harry Potter and thinking, oh, you know, flipping Dumbledore's. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a figment of imagination, basically, because when you're not taught who Allah is, or who you know, like, for example, now when I say to me and Ilyas will have like fights over who loves who more. Usual thing, like, no, I love you more, mummy. No, mummy, you're wrong. I love you more. And they'll be like, no, I love you more, because obviously a mum's love, there's no comparison.
Yeah.
And then now he says, I love you the most in the world, in the entire world, after Allah and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So I love them more. And I'm like, oh, alhamdulillah, because even though he might not understand really what he's 9, you know, he might not really grasp the concept of that, he's gonna grow up knowing that that's the hierarchy. Like, he has to love Allah first and foremost, before mummy, before whatever. Like, but yeah, it's just like,
I love him.
I do love him. I miss him already. You know, he's camping this weekend. He's got like Muslim scouts.
MashaAllah.
Yeah, I love it. But yeah, I think everything that I focus on teaching Ilyas is based on a lot of unlearning from my own childhood, and like knowing what I didn't want him to experience, and the religious traumas or whatever you want to call it that I went through. Like, I don't want him to go through that, because I don't want him to have this phase of like being away from Islam and then having to come back. Allahu A'lam, if that happens to him, maybe it will, because Allah tests us all in different ways.
It's true.
Maybe it will happen.
Yeah, but he has way more tools than anybody else does to come back. Yeah. He has way more tools than anyone else has, because you've planted all the small seeds, all the good seeds. It will grow into a tree. If a few apples fall off that tree, that's okay. He's still got a whole tree. Whereas some of us, we don't even have a seedling.
We literally start from scratch.
Some of us, we don't even have a seedling.
Yeah.
Like, it's as adults. That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's so mad. I feel like now I'm really prioritizing Hannah learning all of these things.
Yeah.
And now it's making me, like you said, if I want her to be a practicing Muslim, how can I be? It's almost like hypocrisy. I can't not pray properly and then expect her to pray. Yeah. That doesn't. It's not the example. They follow. They will. Kids
lead
will,
by example.
They literally will not fail. The only thing they will like not fail at doing is copying you, and that's so mad. You know what I mean? That's so mad.
And think about it. Look, there are so many people who grew up watching their parents pray. But where are they now? Do they pray?
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you can do that. You can do the actions. But if it's not in your heart, and if you're not teaching in a genuine way where you're actually thinking, you know what, my kid is going to Jannah, I'm putting the work in, because I'm not risking the future generations. I'm not risking it. I'm not risking my son's life, my son's eternity, just because there's temptations. It's like recently, look, I had a situation recently. So obviously, like I said, over the last couple of years, like, I've been getting closer and closer and closer to the deen, and like learning more and more and more, and like becoming more and more practicing.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I was practicing, but I still wasn't wearing an abaya, and I still had like guy friends. Mm-hmm. So this was when I was like heavy into boxing.
Yeah.
And obviously boxing is a men's sport. Do you know what I mean? It's like you go to a boxing gym, there's a lot of men there.
Yeah.
And like, I was a tomboy growing up anyway, so I've never had that whole thing of like, oh, I can't be friends with guys, because for me it was always just like, I see these guys as my brothers. Like, there's nothing, and I know like I can have a fully platonic relationship with a guy.
Yeah.
And there's nothing. But it's haram.
Yeah.
Let's accept it. It's haram. Yeah. So like, as I was getting more practicing, I was becoming more and more uncomfortable with the fact that I was training around men. And I was like, nah, this can't run. And also I was like best friends with my coach. Best friend. Like, this guy's my best. This guy took the place of my brother because my brothers aren't really around. So I didn't have any, like, I had no men in my life, like no men to like help me with things I needed. Like, let's be real, women need men, right?
We do.
And there were certain times when I would need a man for something. Like I was refurbishing the bathroom, and like there was stuff that needed to be done, and all these idiot tradesmen were like way over, like just quoting me ridiculous prices.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not paying that. Like, I'll just do it myself. But I couldn't do it myself. It was like to knock down a wall.
Oh, wow.
So like I called this because he was my best friend and he was like my brother. He came straight away, no problem. No problem. Really, my brother should have done it, but anyway, we move. But it was like, it got to a point where I was like, listen, I said, look, you know that I'm like getting closer to my religion and this and that. I was like, we can't be friends. And he was like, but why? We're like siblings.
Was he Muslim?
No.
Okay.
I was like, but he's really understanding. I think
it's harder for them to even understand you when they're not Muslim.
Because he was like, but we're friends. Oh. Like, we're really close friends. Like, you're like my sister. I'm like a brother to you. And I was like, yeah, it doesn't matter. But I broke it down for him. And then, alhamdulillah, the last thing I did for him, I bought him a Quran and some books. And I just gave them to him. And I was like, here you go. See you later.
Oh, so
but we basically,
if he becomes a Muslim, it's because of you.
We parted ways.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this can't happen.
That's so sad.
And that happened, when was it?
That was actually sad. You had a genuine friendship, man.
Yeah, like a real friendship. That happened, was it? I think it was almost 2 years ago, right? Now, I'm still really good friends with his girlfriend. Yeah. And the other day, she was at my house and she said to me, I don't tell him when I'm coming here. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she said, he's like really broken up about the fact that you guys don't talk anymore. Because Zakiya was like one of the closest women to me. Now she just left me, basically. And I was like, what?